Aloha, and welcome to our panel, NextGen Leaders, Stewarding and Embodying Legacies, Family Legacies of Peace, Prosperity, and Thriving for All. We are so happy and grateful to be here, and thank you everyone for showing up for this beautiful movement and world peace movement that we're creating together, and so excited for all of us to share about our family legacies and our work in the world and how we are continuing to embody and steward our family legacies of sustainable peace, prosperity, and thriving for all. So we'll begin as we are all logging in. So we'll begin with our most recent VIP, Jay. Jay Singh, thank you so much for joining us. And as we are all logging in, I would love to hear about you. If you could please introduce yourself and share a brief description about your family story and in 1 to 2 minutes, and how you are focused on creating a legacy of peace, prosperity, and thriving for all.
Hi, thank you. I'm Jay, student at UC Merced studying data science and analytics. And yeah, just a little brief history. So yeah, we're from a long line of educators who have always kind of supported our community through faith and service. And yeah, sorry. I'm just looking forward in the coming years to join the peace train and start my own journey of service. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful, Jay. Thank you so much. And I'm so inspired by you and your father working together on this conference, and so grateful for you for all of your help behind the scenes with facilitating and making sure that everyone has everything that they need. And I'm so inspired by the two of you as well and your work in Los Angeles to provide services for peace and prosperity to your community. And to take care of the firefighters and your community that are in need of resources. And I'm just so inspired by your family and your stewardship and how you continuously provide resources for peace, prosperity, and thriving for everyone, and being the reason why we are here enjoying this panel. So much gratitude to you and to your father Anand and your family for taking care of this conference, and also of your community at the same time, as everything is really in need of more peace, prosperity, and thriving. And thank you so much. And it's an honor and delight to welcome you to the Peace Train, and to welcome you to our community of peace leaders, as you certainly are. And I'm so inspired by you and your father and your family and your beautiful work. So thank you so much for being with us today. And it's such an honor and delight to welcome you to the Peace Train and to be side by side with you on this mission. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And with that, I got to get back to the intern stuff. So thank you so much for having me. And
You're so
have a great
welcome. It's our honor and delight. Thank you so much for having us in this conference and on this panel. It's such an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Oh, it's the best. Welcome everyone, and I'm moderating now as Anand is taking care of additional things with his conference, and so grateful for Anand and the team at Davos Worldwide for hosting us on this phenomenal conference and webinar. We are on the sidelines of Davos and sharing solutions for the world's most pressing challenges. And so I'm now moderating, so I'll introduce myself, and then we'll go around with our esteemed panelists alongside Jay, who just shared. and we are so happy and grateful to be here. So my name is Maryn Ryan Soref. I am the founder and CEO of the Peace Train, and also the founder and president of the Peace Pledge. And where our panel today and our panelists we are all sharing about our families and our legacies and our stories of how we are embodying and stewarding a legacy of sustainable peace, prosperity, and thriving for all. And so I will begin and model this, and we will go around the room. We have some phenomenal panelists, and I'm so grateful for dear friends for joining me on this panel, and so excited for us to share our stories and inspire the world with really thinking about how we can be the best stewards of our family legacies, and how we are each and all creating legacies of sustainable peace, prosperity, and thriving for all. So I will begin, and then we'll go around. And so to share a bit about my family legacy, in briefly, my great grandfather was on my father's side created Master Lock, and then his son, my grandfather, built it and scaled it into a global company. And the Master Lock factory is in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and created a legacy in the community of employment and a community around this company that employed everyone and treated everyone equally and super fairly, and created a beautiful, thriving community, both with the company and also to economically uplift Milwaukee in the 1920s and 30s when it was in need of that at that time. And over 100 years later, it's still there and thriving, and still has a beautiful community around it. And so that's really, I'm so inspired by my great-grandfather and my grandfather and their work when I think about the work that I'm doing with regenerative development with light space. And I'll get more into that later. And on my mother's side, and also on my father's side, my great-grandparents created the first movie theater in downtown Los Angeles, which is absolutely phenomenal, and premiered City Lights and also The Wizard of Oz in Los Angeles. So I'm really inspired by media and by storytelling, and know that storytelling is the luminary force for the world, to inspire the world into a better, brighter way of being, and to imagine what is possible. And so, and then on my mother's side, my mother and my father is a songwriter. My father is a beautiful songwriter and music producer, and he's created so many beautiful songs about love and also life. And he's written songs for TV and film that are very inspirational, and also with major artists as well. And he continues to inspire me every day. And my father is the absolute best, and inspires me with music, and really inspired my early love of music and of lyrics, and really of listening to the prophetic lyrics that inspired me with the Peace Train, and my journey with the Peace Train, and what I'm creating today. And then on my mother's side, this is a bit longer than I had planned. So so I apologize for that. And also important where we come from. And also on my mother's side, my mother's father is the chief of design of the lunar module. So he had a dream and received the download for the lunar module, drew it, and then he hired he shared it with his friend, and he worked with Grumman, and Grumman bid on the lunar module design of NASA, and then they received the bid. And so my grandfather put Grumman on the map, and also with the lunar module design, and then he hired the whole team, and they did the lunar landing. So this inspires me with my work with the Peace Train, and with my work with everything, because I really think about how can I, as a NextGen, create an overview effect. How can I create a sensation that positively impacts billions of people? And and as he did with the lunar module, that really created the overview effect, where it unified the worlds at that time. So a lot of my work is focused on unifying the worlds and creating that overview effect, and that's exactly what we're creating with the Peace Train. And my mother, his daughter, and my grandmother is is a phenomenal muse from a long line of Irish goddesses, and her ancestors were early Irish settlers that were leaders in. If anyone's seen the Gangs of New York, and with all of the Irish leaders, the fighting Irish, that was my grandmother's ancestors, and so peace and freedom leaders, and then my mother has organized the D-Day ceremony in Normandy every year for the past 20 years. So she invites presidents, heads of state, top military personnel, active military and veterans to Normandy every year and host the VIP ceremony. So this really inspires my work with the Peace Train, because this is really an opportunity that we have as a community to bring the best resources for peace, prosperity, and purpose directly to veterans, active military, and top military generals that really need support for resources for healing. And that's really our mission with the Peace Train, is to heal humanity and the planet, and to bring these resources directly to people, and also provide a trusted resource as a global community where people can tune in and access these resources for sustainable peace, prosperity, purpose, and sustainable thriving. So I'm so happy and grateful that I'm joined here by my dear friends and fellow partners on this mission that are stewarding the resources for sustainable peace, prosperity, and thriving. And particularly on this panel, I'm so inspired and so grateful for everyone here, because we all have super keys to this dynamic and to this paradigm, and are true inspirations for everyone for how we can embody and steward these legacies and family legacies, and create this in our work and with the worlds for our descendants, and truly for the world, for the next 7 generations and beyond. So that was a bit longer than I anticipated, and also I appreciate the time and the space to set the space. And now I'm so happy to introduce my dear friends and partners on this mission, who are all just such beautiful luminaries, and I'm so inspired by all of you every day and all the time, and truly with what I'm doing. The Peace Train is really designed so that everyone can together share our solutions for the world. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here and for creating the solutions for the world that we can share from this platform of the Peace Train and beyond, as everyone is already doing. So I'm so inspired by you, and thank you so much for being here and for sharing your stories on this platform and with the world. Thank you so much. And so to begin, I see. Does anyone feel called to begin? Perhaps Mitzi, Paula, goddesses first.
I'm happy to begin.
And thank you so
my
much.
story's a bit shorter, but my an ancestor of mine in 1840 founded a company that's today is still active, and it's always been run by a Henderson. And I married into a family that's been in business since 1920. So between us, we have a lot of experience in families that last. And I will share with you something brief. There's academic research that shows that families that, if they don't discover philanthropy and a higher purpose than making money by the 3rd generation, they won't last. And my 2 families, I think, are perfect examples of this, because our culture is we're here to serve, and we're to get our identity not by spending but by serving, and that our goal is to make the world a better place and serve. And that's it.
Yeah, my name is Paula Schwartz. I'm half Greek and half German, and I come from a pharmaceutical family that used to own one. They had one pharmacy that was actually cooking their own stuff, and was very interesting. Like I recently found out more about the history of the company. And they actually grew to become the 2nd largest pharmaceutical company in Germany. It's called Schwartz Pharma. My name is Paula Schwartz. And I'm super grateful for this history and really appreciate the entrepreneurial aspect of it. Women were not designed to lead the company. So I run my own company now. I decided not to try and change the culture, but really curate my own philosophy. And I'm in very close contact, though, with where I come from. I think it's important to influence systems, and that's the philosophy that I stand for. I think it's important to be grateful for the world as it is, but then to also, be innovative and stand for what you want to stand for. So yeah. Maybe Adia, I'm just saying your first name.
You got it. It's like
Since
water.
you're a doctor, pharma doctor.
Yes. Hi, I'm Dr. Adil Dalal. Really a pleasure to be on board on this train. Thank you, Maryn. Thank you, Mitzi, Paula, Alejandro, Grant, all of these founders, which are just amazing people. And I grew up in Mumbai, India, and came to the US with a dream to join the automotive industry because I just finished reading autobiography of T. Iacocca, and it inspired me to come to Detroit, and that's where I was. But ended up joining a medical company, and since then I've become, author, speaker, have my own business, doing things. But I think what drove me to this particular mission is what you guys are talking about. It's about really making this world a better place. And that's why one of my books is called A Legacy Driven Life. And to me, a legacy is to me, it is about giving back to the next generation. A lot of people have a purpose in life that is for this generation, for yourself. When you have a legacy, you are giving back to that next generation to come. And the way I explain it is it's converting the dash, which is your first breath and your last breath will be defined by a dash for all of us, right? The date of birth, date of when we pass. Why do we remember some people who have passed, centuries ago? Because they have converted the dash into an infinity. And that's what a legacy is about, is really truly converting it. And we all have the capability to do that. So let's all work together and get on the train. Choo choo. Thank you. That's all.
Hello. My name is Alejandro Glad. I'm a Mexican artist and I'm a peace advocate. I work very hard to bring peace in the world. So I'm very focused on finding the right ways of how we can bring peace through art and through different forums. And I've been sharing my project and my medium through papayas and through fruits and to nature. And I've been traveling the world sharing my mission. So very happy to be here and I'm so ready to hop on the peace train.
Awesome. Maybe I'm the last one. So hi, this is Graham Blaisdell. Sorry for the dark background. On my way to some space activities, but I want to first off thank Maryn for having me here. I'm speaking to you guys in capacity as CEO and co-founder of Humanitarian Space. We're a platform and a marketplace that's pioneering and democratizing access and stakeholding in this new space economy across the commercial and supermarkets. To the kind of theme, I'm third generation space. The roots, the values behind what we're doing at Comparing Space started with my grandfather, who built the original space program in the 80s and has the oldest works that we know of around this concept of democratizing access to space. So that's like at the core of why we do what we do. My mother, who Maryn also knows as well, she's known as Lady Rocket. She's my co-founder as well in this venture. So you can see that we're keeping this line going on. I'm also a lifelong musician, have a large music company in Europe that does some of the biggest concerts and festivals out here because I'm also third generation music. So to our dear doctor here, that originated out of Detroit over 100 years ago. So from my father's side, it's a Detroit entrepreneurial music family. So, you know, I'm keeping both of these, let's say, legacies and value systems, value creating or creative outputs alive, you know, from the first half of the 20th century, you know, into the rest of this 21st century. And to Mitzi's point, attached to all the space activities, we have the Lady Rocket Foundation, so that it's just not about this commercial democratization of becoming a stakeholder or benefiting from what's going to become one of the largest, if not the largest and most important markets on Earth that creates benefits and solutions that improves life on Earth, but to create a philanthropic arm, which we've successfully implemented in schools and with programs from California all the way to Ukraine, down to Kenya, to empower mainly youth and youth who doesn't get this sort of access to something that is still very privileged, specialized economy or related technologies like blockchain, to really empower them to become players in the space economy in the future. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You know, we need marketers. We need every type of person. Space economy, and we include art in this. So art of our students actually just launched last week on our moon mission. We had a moon mission launch this past week. So putting our own money where our mouth is, so to say, so that the benefits we're trying to create grows across as many people as possible. And this is why also, you know, we share values with Maryn. I'm a World War II freak, might not be the best term, but I'm very big on the D-Day aspect, very big what Peace Train is doing. So look at Copernic Space and what we're doing as the bridge for Peace Train and Light Space into real empowerment, activity, assets, and benefits in this new space economy. So thank you for your time and allowing me to introduce myself.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you everyone for your wonderful introductions. It's really, I'm so inspired by all of you, and it's such an honor and delight to be on the train together, and also in many beautiful spaces, and Davos Worldwide being one. You know, it's all of the, I feel like we're spaceship hopping, to continue with the space theme. And it's really, it's so nice because we get to be present together in all of these spaceships, which all of these communities are. And it's such an honor and delight to be together in these places and spaces, and more in person, which is one of the purposes for the Peace Train, and really for all of the communities that we've all created in our stewarding as well. So with that, the second part of the question is what are our companies, and to get more into depth about our companies and what we are creating and how that is in line with our family legacies, and also part of our mission for sustainable peace, prosperity, and thriving for all. So I feel perhaps I'll go first and model this, and then we can go around again. So with the Peace Train and with Light Space, as I shared, Light Spaces very much comes from my father's side, and with regenerative development, which is how we can really empower communities with the resources that they need to sustainably thrive. Whether that's with the built space of the infrastructure or the latest innovations and the companies that are innovating. I'm so inspired now by the rise in renewable energy, and also in and also in AI, and really the infrastructure for the technology that needs to be in the built environment, as well as the integration of nature in the built environment as well. So that really inspires the work that I do with Lightspace so much, and I really see that regenerative real estate is one of the industries that is thriving in this next golden era, as we're calling it. It was so interesting hearing the inauguration of the new President Trump in the United States, and hearing him say the golden era, because I know that that's something that's been a theme and a meme for all of us for a long time, and knowing and seeing this time that we're coming up on. And it was very, very interesting hearing him saying it, and also that he intends to be a peacemaker and a unifier, because that's really, those are hallmarks of this era. This is the era for peace, and also the era for unifying the world. So I'm very inspired by all of the changes that are happening in the United States that are supporting the regenerative real estate industry, and really I see this as part of my legacy as well with regenerative real estate. So that's from my father's side, and Lightspace really being the key as well, because my family legacy is in master locks, and so I'm really inspired to create regenerative keys in the world, so that everyone can have the key to the light world, as they wish. So and then also with the peace train on my mother's side, really like with the creating the overview effect for the world, as I mentioned, and I'm very much I'm very much inspired by all of my friends who are all creating the best solutions, just as my grandfather was inspired by all of the people that he brought together to achieve the moon landing and the lunar landing. And my mom is inspired by all of the peace leaders, the military generals, and all of the global leaders that she curates together every year for Normandy. And the veterans, like, I've gone to Normandy several years for the 75th and the 79th, and I'm so inspired by the veterans who have, they are being, to Mitzi's point, being in service, and all of us being in service, the veterans and their devotion and their dedication to service, and to really to putting their lives on the line for the benefit of humanity, and for the benefit of being of peace and freedom and harmony. And it's so deeply inspiring, and this has like been such a deep part of my upbringing, and also my legacy and my family legacies of service, and how can I best support them with what they need. And so this has really been also with my work as being a VR filmmaker and filming in 30 countries with grassroots nonprofits, and also for a platform called Mind VR, MIND VR, and Mind Immersive, and filming meditative content for this platform. And it's so beautiful that now science is catching up with what we know, that sounds and frequencies and immersive media, and really like putting people into a space where they can be immersed in a beautiful visual image, and with soundscapes and the entire thing, to really to heal people. And it's Mind Immersive was pioneering with these studies with the University of Texas in Austin, studying the positive therapeutic effects of VR on people's brains with Alzheimer's and dementia. And it's not only found to pause the progressiveness of Alzheimer's and dementia, it actually can reverse the symptoms. So this is really like at the cornerstone of what we're doing with the Peace Train, is these techniques, and these techniques with holistic therapies for trauma healing, sounds, frequencies, immersive art, media, like really the storytelling aspect of all of this, and all of these beautiful technologies with biohacking, and to immerse people in these healing technologies. This is exactly what we're doing, is we're democratizing, ubiquitizing access to sound healing for people all over the world, and also direct access to all these resources that can heal them. Because we have to, as humans, and this is very much like one of the things I really feel in terms of legacy and achieving world peace, is I really have felt deeply into this, and And I truly believe that world peace is possible when we have a combination of three things. One is inner peace, and two is sustainable prosperity, tangible prosperity, and the third is access to resources. And so and when we have and connectivity, so when we have all of these things, then we can actually achieve world peace. And so that's really the mission with the peace train, and how I'm weaving my legacy into my work and into the legacy that I seek to create for myself and my descendants, and for the world. So I'm really happy to be a rainbow bridge for the world into this world of healing, and also of all these essential resources for humanity and for the planet to heal the lands and lineages of places worldwide. So thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
And
Mitzi,
jump in.
please go next.
And I'm going to say something a little out of order, but then I'll get back to what I'm talking about. When I give your 3 points, my mind immediately turned to Paula Schwartz, because I have written about her, and your 3 points, to my mind, Paula, you embody them. So yay, Paula. But now back to my story.
Certainly, I agree. Certainly.
I come from 2 families. One is in chickens and one was in hotels, but we sold it and we still invest as a family. With the chickens, we have, both families have 2 different approaches to philanthropy. The chicken side of my family, we vote together on what to support. And I'm just so proud we support doing everything we can to end hunger. And that means doing things like, I think we spent $1 million last year, $100,000 at a time, with the food banks, providing them not just with food, which we do, but also with facilities like being able to refrigerate the produce that they get to make it last longer and not have it go to waste. That's one approach. But the other is the Henderson side. We also have a foundation, but each family members get to say what they support. And I want to spend like 60 seconds telling about what I support, because I also think it goes right back to what you've been talking about. If we're healing the world, would really like mental health. And I want to tell a quick story. I was on the phone with a guy in Ukraine who told me just a couple of days ago, he's a social worker, and he said that the amount of mental, just mental distress that's going on, according to the World Health Organization, half the population has issues like panic attacks or insomnia or anger. And I'm just as a result of being so continuously under stress. And my social worker friend, his name's Pavel, he told me that if he's in a supermarket and he's buying food and he sees a guy who's sort of out of control, he'll leave the supermarket because he doesn't know that that guy doesn't have a grenade and he might just throw it. I mean, that's, to my mind, the level of stress. So what do you do about it? And I'll share what I'm trying to do. As a journalist and correspondent, I've interviewed and written stories about more than 250 people who are victims of war crimes in Ukraine. Pretty much everyone that I've talked with has mental stress issues, post-traumatic stress issues. And there's not a chance that they'd have enough therapists in Ukraine, during a war, to have one-to-one conversations with 15 million people. Well, I wrote my master's thesis, I won't tell you how long ago, 50 years ago. I wrote my master's thesis on the future of computers, so I have a lifelong interest in what computers do. And I'm also a heavy user of ChatGPT and Grok and Perplexity. And it occurred to me, what if we could help people with mental health issues by having a particular trained ChatGPT type bot that would be trained by Ukrainian psychologists so that it would be culturally appropriate and like approved for Ukraine. And my family's been helping support. There are now 4 people working at the American University Kyiv implementing this. There's psychiatrists, there are information technologists, Somebody donated a $40,000 server, and it's rolling out this month. We're going to be testing it small, like 20 at a time. But if it works, and the preliminary indications, I've listened in on some of them, are spectacular. I hope it does. I mean, how do you have peace when people are under so much stress that you're scared to be in a supermarket when somebody's having to quarrel because you might have a grenade thrown? You don't get peace when there's that much mental health pain. So that's what I'm trying to do, and I'm recruiting my brothers and sisters to join with me in this on the foundation.
I love that. I think that's amazing. And yeah, Mitzi, however I can support, let me know. So, and also thank you for what you've done for me in the past. I really appreciate it. So I'm just talking because, we said we would go the path that we had before. But yeah, as I mentioned, so I run my own company, but I didn't mention before what it is, I think, right? So I run this thing called Cosmopolis. It's called Cosmopolis app officially, if you Google it. But there's also a corporation connected to it, and the overall aim is that we register users who are helpers or help seekers. So you can sign up as a helper and offer your help, or you can sign up as a help seeker and look for support. And so, for example, there's celebrities who have recently joined us, like Eva Longoria is one of them, Jennifer Garner was another lady, and they became very active in the LA wildfires. To support people. Angelina Jolie also in her house became like a big topic. And then there's people who are help seekers who are looking for help. And we use a backend of the UN as a registration feature because we wanted to be very safe. We wanted to provide the infrastructure so that people can actually say, yes, I want to help somebody without risking to get shot or risking for their own safety to be endangered as a result, right? And so we've grown substantially over the last year. Mitzi was the first person to write about us because we also piloted in Ukraine. And I don't know, Mitzi, maybe you will be happy to hear that we are now creating an AI that looks at your helper profile and gathers the information together and then says, this is the best way that you can help based on the information that you've provided. So because, we split it into helpers and help seekers, you can move between a help seeker and between a helper status. As a user, you can make help offers, you can make help requests. And if you don't know what you can offer, the AI can tell you. Based on where you are, based on your skills, based on the needs on the platform, they can make suggestions. And it's the same for help requests, same technology. We're also testing at the moment. This is based on an AI that is already running that enables refugees to find any kind of information related to migration. But Cosmopolis as a company we're not focused on refugees. We're focused on connecting helpers and help seekers. This can be in a wildfire. This can be in Davos as well. So we have a significant growth right now of people who sign up as companies, as NGOs, or as private individuals who say, I need money, I need mentorship, I need advice, and even I need psychological support, right? So if you need psychologists, we can find them for you, Mitzi. So I would like to encourage everybody to sign up either as a helper or a help seeker on Cosmopolis. It's www.cosmopolis.app. It takes literally 30 seconds to sign up. You can snoop around, look around, wait for the AI because we're launching that soon. But for the time being, you can just make a help offer if you like, or make a help request. And I promise people will love you for it. So. I guess, yeah. Adil, I'm passing it on to you again.
That's so beautiful. I'm so inspired by your work. Thank you so much.
Exactly. I'm just loving listening to your stories. You got me out of that zone. Uh, so basically, I was, yes, um, being part of the medical industry, and I think I'm relating to a lot of the stories. Mitzi, I was working, numerous hours. I was doing my second master's, running multi-million-dollar programs, and one day I just collapsed, and I was taken to the ER for 3 days. I couldn't move a single muscle, and it was chronic stress. So, that point, obviously, I completed my programs. I moved from Michigan to California, and then I started my own business. My focus was how can I take the technical side, but also merge humanity into it? Because I really feel that, so I did take a time off. I went to the Himalayas, I deep meditation, and came back with, how do I integrate some of these tools, what I have learned? And I actually wrote, many books, and written a chapter on stress, and I actually created a software, which is a biofeedback software. And I work a lot with neurofeedback, biofeedback, really helping people with PTSD, with stress. And I've actually spoken last year. I spoke for the numerous governments, including the House of Lords, and I present at a lot of different places on stress. But I'm also launching a program. I really feel when you say Harvard Medical Studies are saying 50%, I traveled, I have, so I'm also a trainer and a keynote speaker. So I travel around the world, and I'm saying that 90 to 95% of the people on this planet are suffering from some kind of stress. So the numbers, it's a hidden pandemic, which if we don't pay attention to, and the only way to get to it is top down. Trying to go bottoms up through people is not going to work. So that is why I'm trying to work with the topmost leaders to make them aware. So I have a program I just also presented at Forbes. I'm one of the Forbes coaching council member. So I also presented this workshop. So I've created a whole workshop, entire step by step of how to really understand stress and get over it. But I want to work at the leadership level. So I've also created a very new level of leadership, because today leadership is broken. We really need to get, today the world is slightly different. So I've created a whole new level of leadership called Sensei Leadership. I'm integrating AI. I'm also going to be doing a TED Talk in April in Brussels on AI leadership and how the next generation is going to be affected from a neuroscience point of view. So this is a catastrophe waiting to happen, and we all need to really be mindful. We all are thinking of AI. It's a great tool. I use it, big fan of it, but we've learned a lot of lessons from social media. We cannot repeat those lessons. So my passion is really not only helping companies be very successful, because I'm a Lean Six Sigma expert, so I go in and transform, but I'm also trying to transform the culture of the organization. If the culture doesn't come along, no matter of technology you put in will not help. So that is my mission, is to really be the, take humanity to compete with AI and other things. We need to stay on the dot to be able to do and compete with that. Otherwise, we're in trouble. So
I would love to show you our processes if you
I would
have
love
some.
that. I would love that. I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've transformed over 100 companies around the world. So
Yeah, that's great. That's
thank you.
amazing.
Epic synergy in the spaceship.
Yes.
For spaceship hopping. So great. Thank you for demonstrating that in real time. It's perfect.
Speaking of
And that's,
spaceships, am I next?
you are indeed.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
yes.
sorry, my connection was hopping in and out a little bit, but I think I'm generally here. First off, really, inspiring stuff to listen, to all of you guys. Myself, I kind of went into a little bit, through my main business, my business is how we're fulfilling that legacy. The thing around comparing space is that I kind of alluded to earlier is that what space has always done is advancements in space have created some of the most important innovation solutions that improve life on Earth. Now that this market has very recently privatized, right? This legacy vision values started by my grandfather, this idea of democratization of access to space can actually not only happen, but is vitally and key important for the space economy, for Earth, and for humanity that we build a private space market, a marketplace for it that is not only serving, let's say, how space is done traditionally today, or the VC funds or the private equity funds that are starting to touch space today, but how do we empower these genius guys building these solutions by at the same time empowering anyone from the fund to a space enthusiast on their couch to some commercial company to be able to access these opportunities and benefit from them, right? So for us, the democratization thing is vitally important for the industry because collective liquidity and the collective benefit will come from the wider commercial market and not the privileged, let's say, few entities and people, right? We saw the power of this sort of approach a couple of years ago with, for example, GameStop stock. The public, a group of the public concentrated their capital on something they felt passionate about and ate the largest hedge fund in the day. Space is going to have very much a similar dynamic because the governments do not have enough to fuel this, and the current financial and commercial models for space do not work for space. The big opportunity of this century is, how do we create the new space economy? How does it run? So that's what we're accomplishing, improving as a marketplace already over the past couple of years by integrating anyone from space VCs to AI companies to crypto projects to artists to individuals to 12-year-old students to actually participate in space and have ownership of assets in space, whether that's art, whether that's an investment, whether that's satellite data, whether that's because we're talking about AI. I was talking to one of the biggest space companies in the world before this, whether that is AI computation in space and creating more sustainable computation environment on Earth by off-worlding it, that infrastructure into space. So, that's how we're accomplishing it through comparing space. We think it's one of the more important opportunities, not just economically, but once again, the benefit that it can provide to improve some of the biggest challenges or needs for life on Earth. Real quickly around the music thing, I've been a musician my whole life. It's the most consistent thing. I still release music, but I've manifested that more through my companies, which is Big Idea. It's the holding company. I mentioned we do some of the biggest concerts, but we also built our own ticketing app startup recently, etc. So once again, utilizing new technologies, new models to create more transparent, more equal, and beneficial markets for people on Earth. Last but not least, Lady Rocket Foundation, once again, that's where we really work on the ground with communities to give them access and exposure to the space market, by also utilizing arts, technology, creative, emotional driven things to onboard people in space. We're not going to onboard 5 billion people into the space market by only speaking engineering talk and by only having, um, what visionary important people, but people like Musk being the viewpoint that, hey, these are the only people who can become stakeholders or players in space. That's not the case. And we're making sure that it's a much more decentralized, distributed, and democratized marketplace. We have the opportunity to build one of the most important marketplaces from a new foundation, from a new, what I call, economic infrastructure. I'm going to stop there because I
Epic.
think
Thank you, Grant.
oh, sorry, I thought you were muted.
That was really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I love the bridge between space and earth. That's such a key bridge because it's really people, when we think about like why we are thinking about space and building in space, it is we can utilize all of these technologies on earth to improve life on earth as well. So speaking of Alejandro and your work between bridging space and earth or earth to space, would you like to share about what one of your award-winning accolades?
Yes, absolutely, guys.
Or many, but I was
Yes.
thinking about that one in particular. Bringing Earth to space.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. So let me put on the camera. Sorry, I think it wasn't there. Here we go.
Yay.
Perfect. So yes, I had a luck to be selected as one of the artists to send art to the moon. I see Lorenzo is here on the call. Lorenzo and Medici, we were together in the amazing gala February last year from Cape Canaveral, where we saw history, how this first museum ever sending art to the moon, where we were 222 artists from 100 different countries to represent what is the first mission going back to the moon since 1972. So this was the first mission called the I Am One on the rocket that is it's
SpaceX
called
Falcon
the
9.
Falcon 9. Exactly, the Falcon 9. And we're preparing for the second mission because sending art to the moon is kind of a legacy of how we're sending what we are creating in this earth to the moon, so it can stay there for history forever. And yeah, would you like to add some other stuff, Lorenzo?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. I think that first things it's beautiful to see so much energies and so much people together. It's always good. The union of people, union of mind can absolutely create good stuff, and it's very important. So as a next gen together, I think can really give an impact on anything. And so something that. I think it's very important. We talked, and in general, is stability. This is a moment of stability, and my family was pioneering on creating peace and making money with peace. So I always have brought this concept that we should teach or focus or pushing the agenda of peace because there is a way to make money for businessmen even when peace is done. People think that it's easy to make money when there's war, and in reality, peace can bring a lot of mental, physical, and economical prosperity to the whole people. And so I think it's very important that we continue on that field. And in this moment, mostly as a De Medici, I'm very pro a stability moment, and I can do anything I can to make the whole world and all these wars to end up and get people to prosper.
Wow, yeah,
Thank you.
amazing. It's a big impact for humanity, and I love to hear how projects are doing this impact. It's so amazing.
Perfect.
And Lorenzo, would you like to share a bit about what you're doing now that continues your family legacy as well?
Absolutely. I had a lot of time in the past. People who want to help from me, and I was doing partially help in philanthropies in different NGO, working with different NGO, and so I had a few years ago. I had people who asked me. My family have started a lot of projects in the Renaissance. That's strange to believe they may be still current today and they're still important today. So I decided to build my own no-profit. It's called the Medici Foundation. It's a 501c3 that will focus on the stability, will focus on innovation, utilizing different modern instrument, IT solution. We were speaking now about when we went to Cape Canaveral. I find out that there is, let's say, a coin, that this coin can contain the Bible, and this is made by now a friend of mine, and so we work together to have a library where we can preserve all the ancient books with little coins. So instead of having a big library, something happened, this is unburnable and can be read digitally today, but even without digitally, just with the eye. So if in 100 years or 1,000 years people will find these little coins, they will still able to detract what is written there. So I think it's very important, because with the AI and what's going on today, a lot of people will not know the history, because at least in Google you see different people give you different opinions and then you make your own. But with AI, everybody follows AI. So whatever AI will tell to the people about any one of us, our past or religion or wars or point of view and everything, will be only one way based on what AI have detract. So it's important to protect, and so the Medici Foundation is working with new technology to preserve the future in many aspects, and working with countries to make understand that really there is a possibility to make the art. The Medici at that time was a black moment, a dark moment, and then when the Medici arrived, they put the man at the center of the attention, and they brought an energetic wise that create what is Florence today, and risking a lot, but they've done. And so I have a lot of projects that my family started that they were not finished, that I have no even idea myself. And I had people ask me, your family, Michelangelo's, have make a drawing for peace for the Duomo of Florence. Can you finance today? And so it's interesting that how still there is things unfinished by my family that I have the honor to be part of this. And so I just think that it's great that I can follow what my ancestors have done in a modern way.
Can I just ask, because I've built a platform that I shared onto the chat here. It's www.cosmopolis.app, like the global city, and we divide people into helpers and help seekers. So there's recently Eva Longoria joined, and Jennifer Garner, and some other people who are helping very much in the wildfires. And the idea is that there's so many people who need help, but there's also a lot of people who want to help. And we're creating now an AI that reads through your profile if you are a helper and suggests to you how you can best help. And this AI is being created now, but we already have many thousands of users using the platform, helpers and help seekers. And for us, it would be amazing if you could join. Or if you would maybe give us a statement to say that you think it's great for helpers to help as well. Mitzi is actually on the board of the company as well.
Absolutely. I lost property in the Pacific Palisade, and so I know how hard is it for all of us, all the people who live in LA. I live 6 months a year in LA and 6 months in Italy, and so it's terrible. And so a lot of people try to help, but and the situation is not stopped there. The whole California is under fire now. They're starting in San Diego as well. So for sure, having someone who can help and your solution may be a good thing. So absolutely, we can talk, and absolutely.
Great, thank you. I'll send you some stuff about it.
Lorenzo, were you involved with the creation of the series Medici?
No, I was not involved. It's a British production. I get contact by the producer, and they were a little bit changed the way that the show was really in the history. And so I didn't felt comfortable. It's always good that they speak about the Medicis anyway.
Yes,
So a lot of
I
new
love the
people.
series. It's
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
very interesting. And there's a lot of shows that they based on the Medici. You know, they have the
Yeah,
Serpent Queen now on Star. They have Da Vinci Demons, many of them. And so it's always good. It just as an expert of history, I find
yeah.
some of the things a little bit silly and funny, but it's okay. I mean, they maybe change the wife with the lover's name and everything, but that's okay.
Great.
Other things.
Lovely.
Let's continue the conversation on the peace train. We have another panel starting. Ananda's another panel starting. Also, just thank you all so much for being here, for showing up. And this is the purpose of the peace train, that we can all be together, celebrate together, and share wisdom, and be together and synergize, because we really truly have the solutions for the sustainable peace, prosperity, and thriving of humanity. And thank you all for being here and for being a part of it. And let's keep the party going, as always.
You.
Beautiful. Thank you all. Such an honor, pleasure. And thank you, Anand and team Davos Worldwide. Such a pleasure to be here. Such an honor. Thank you.